My mom's at church. I have my period. It's not highly likely that I'm going to want to walk about a mile to buy new batteries, and I'm out of brand new batteries. So I am digging through my batteries that some of them have more juice than others. They could run out at any second. But you know, when my mom is not home, it's not that often I have to grab the opportunity to create videos. You know, I have to feed my obsession. Let's see if I can get through what I tried to get through in the last 2 videos, just a small little thing. I have a Netflix subscription, and I was cruising through Netflix, and this Australian woman, angel at my table, she was beyond eccentric, just like, you know, yours truly. And obviously she was committed to mental hospitals and whatnot, and she was deemed nuts. They were going to give her a lobotomy, destroy her. She wound up winning the Pulitzer Prize for poetry and writing instead, and she was saved from the lobotomy. I point this out because it's just another example how the normal folk want to, you know, keep down, suppress, destroy the non-normal folk. You know, she won the Pulitzer Prize. She was saved from a lobotomy that would have destroyed her. Like I said, don't know when the batteries are going to run out. I would just talk. I'm not safe, and I've never been. I haven't been safe, felt safe, you know, for years now. For years, haven't been safe, felt safe. So it's kind of funny to me when even people that care about me, my YouTube fans, you know, one wrote right in the comments, I said, if I can't tell by your name if you're a man or woman, then I don't know. But he, she does care about me, and doesn't understand why I would hire an escort, i.e. a hot guy, to touch me a little bit safely in public. Well, think of all the shit I've been through over these last few years. The government awarded me close to $17,000 because it determined that I'd suffered too much in too short a period of time. Too much trauma. Okay? I wasn't safe back in LA with Donald and his mom when they could throw me out of there at a moment's notice, you know. So I would do unsafe things, because such as walking back home that wasn't my home. I had no home, okay, as Donald would rub in my face all the time whenever the opportunity struck, you know, whenever he felt like doing so. So I would go out, get shit-faced, go out where nobody knew who I was. I was just the tall, semi, you know, hot, pretty blonde, you know. They didn't know who I was. I was out alone. A couple times I walked, quote-unquote, home. That wasn't my home, like 13 miles from Hollywood. I did. It took me, like, I got home, like, probably like when it was light. I don't know. It took me over 4 hours. You figure 20 minutes a mile or something. It took me over 4 hours. Why did I do it? My life had just been repeatedly turning to nightmare. Even what had happened back in the summer of 2009, before Donald and his mother was kind enough to let me stay there so long as I went on welfare, you know, and could, even though I wasn't paying rent, I was contributing in other ways, including cleaning and cooking, and not really cooking, because Donald's mom loved to cook, but cleaning the house all the time and being their gopher, and anytime they needed something for the house or whatever, I'd walk to the 99-cent store, I'd walk to Vaughn's, I'd walk anywhere, do anything and everything for either of them, because I'd be out on the street. But it still wasn't good enough, and then I turned to the internet to save my sorry-ass life. It wasn't good enough to please them, to keep them from hurting me. Not physically, of course. I'd go out. I still look good, even when I was 210 pounds, which is about 50 pounds more than I weigh now. A little less. 45 pounds, whatever I weigh now. No, I had my period. Probably way more if I stepped on the scale. But I'm hovering right around. I kept myself under 170 all winter, and I'm hovering right around 163, 64, something like that. Yeah, I walked home from Hollywood. It wasn't my home. I didn't have a home. Walking up the cars around. There's always cars around. I had my music blasted in my ear. Could have died any second, of course, if someone... I wasn't drunk. When I would go to Spotlight Bar, and I knew I'd be waiting at buses at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning, whatever, depending how, if the bus, sometimes the bus would take a long time. I had to take 2 buses back home. That wasn't my home. I would I would drink, but I wouldn't get, almost near to passing out drunk, because I knew what a vulnerable position I would be in, waiting at buses for hours sometimes, waiting at bus stops. So I cooled it. I didn't get as shit-faced as I might normally have. And a couple of times I did, just to do it. Just to say I did it. Just to do it, I did. I walked home all the way from Hollywood. That wasn't my home. I didn't have a home. I had been rejected, put out on the street like an animal in 2009 by my own mom, who wouldn't have actually done it had she not feared Marion tossing her back into the nut house where people there had hurt her. So I forgive my mom. I don't know what it's like to be in a nut house, to be constantly sectioned into nut houses throughout your life. Throughout half your life, I don't know what that's like. I can imagine what it's like, but I don't know firsthand, thank God. Speaking of which, the same person who doesn't understand why I would hire an escort just to touch me, PG-13, like on the beach or something, or people all around me, be like an advanced massage that's, instead of being a therapeutic massage that hurts because I'm so tense, and I used to get them. I used to pay $50 plus $10 tip, 12, 13 years back when I lived in Massachusetts before I moved in with the monster and his mother. I used to pay for massages. It's $60 a pop, okay? So to pay an escort, $100, or to find a guy on Craigslist or whatnot, to do that to me, just more advanced, back, neck, and shoulders, and then periodically, kiss the back of my neck, nibble on my hair, talk dirty in my hair, pretend that I'm your girlfriend and you're hot for me and whatnot, and the guy might actually be hot for me, but it's still pretend, because I sure as fuck am not his girlfriend. It's just a one-time thing, stranger. You can't wonder why I would do that. I'm not safe. I'm still not safe. My poor mother's not safe. She thinks she is, but she's not. She doesn't understand the evil in my Aunt Marion. I do. I've seen it. I've experienced it firsthand. My mother has too. She just doesn't remember. Okay? We're not safe. I'm not safe. But I haven't been safe for years. I was safer in that freaking shelter, where I would sometimes be eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner, not unbeknownst to me, of course, could have been sitting next to a rapist or a child molester or whatever, you know. You don't know. I was still safer in there than I ever was living with Donald and his mother, where I could be thrown out at a moment's notice. Okay? I'm not safe. But a person out here, a fan, cares about me. There's no way that the scenario he thinks is gonna happen could happen. I don't do anything wrong. I can't be committed, even if you understand the internet is different. It's like an alternate reality. I can't be committed. My craziness is contained. If you want to call it craziness, and you sure as hell can call it whatever you want. It's a free country. It's contained within writing, within the internet, within these videos, I don't do anything crazy in the real world. I can't be committed. Okay? He thinks that Marion's plan is that my aunt's gonna die soon, my mother will snap, I'll snap, and Marion will have us both me and my mother committed, and then have the power over us, and sure, I believe that she would like that. I don't think she could do it, though. I don't do anything wrong. You guys don't understand. I don't do anything wrong. I don't do anything that can get me committed. Craziness I sometimes express out on these videos. The internet, you can't be committed for that. You have to do things in real life. Back in LA, if the cops had caught me, I could have been committed. I was wandering around shit-faced, and I was periodically screaming at the top of my lungs out into the universe. Fuck you, Donald Hope, fuck you, Marion, fuck this world. I could have, but I didn't get caught. I used to scream I wanted to die. That time in Hollywood was really bad. That was because I had traveled long time. It took me a long fucking time to get to that guy who was supposed to pay me remember, didn't have any money. And this guy had promised me he wanted to pay me to have him pay Mistress Alicia to have him to be his footstool. Okay? And in the end, he didn't answer his friggin' doorbell. Didn't answer his number. Didn't answer. I had traveled far, and I was pissed. Traveling by bus to be stood up, And I believed that he wouldn't do something like that because he was submissive. But he did do it for whatever reason. And then I wound up being angry and drinking more and going into Hollywood. And then, I drink too much. I cross that line and I start acting crazy. I could have been easily committed, but it wasn't. Because while I'm busy screaming, whatever, behaving just as my mother has behaved in the past, and people were afraid of me. This one guy reached out to me. Instead of running in fear, are you okay? Are you okay? And he might have said, you're too pretty to be crying like that. I don't know what he said. He was a young kid. I'm sure he was at least 18. He was taller than me and thin and nice looking, and he reached out to me when everyone else was running away from me, so I gave him what he wanted. It made me sick, he made me sick because he cared, and then he still wanted something sexual from me, nothing major, I believe he genuinely cared, but he was conflicted, I'm really attracted to you. You're attracted to me with black streaks all down my face and me talking about wanting to die. See, not safe. I have not been safe for years, okay? Haven't been safe. I said, still safer in that shelter where it was structured. So I was safe so long as I didn't drink. As long as I didn't drink. And my shelter friend, who I'm still friends with, even though I now am rich compared to her, okay? And that makes me feel weird when we're out, when I can buy as many clothes as I want, when I can pay $100 for a haircut if I want, when I can do all this crap and she can't. It makes me feel weird. But like Alan said on 2.5 Men, money at least give you choices and freedom. And compared to be stone cold broke for years and years and years and years and years of my life, I'm now rich, That's weird. Doesn't make me safe. I can't save my mother. Not when she fears her sister, who has this durable power of attorney over her. My mom doesn't want to admit it, but I've periodically got her to admit it. She's afraid. She's afraid of winding up back in the mental hospital, even though she'll rationally say to me, I can't be put in the mental hospital, Laura. I'm taking my medication. I'm not acting crazy. But the fear's still there, Rationally, I know that Marianne can't hurt me. She can't put me in the mental hospital. How? I don't do anything wrong. Okay. But I don't trust her. I do not trust that woman, unfortunately. My mother does. My mother needs to wise up. Talking to my mom, and remember, my poor aunt has been eaten alive by this disease now for December, 18 months. Her time on this earth is drawing to a close. My mother's going to be deeply saddened. I feared my mother, quote unquote, snapping, like my online. I can't call this person a friend. They're not. A friend is somebody who I give my regular email to and we chat back and forth, or somebody I chat a lot with back and forth, even through these personal messages, and you have to become my actual contact invitation friend first, because I have friend log, okay? And this is actually lasting. I can't believe it. Yeah, I haven't been safe in a long time. And when I wasn't safe, I also did unsafe things. Because when your entire existence is just a joke and a nightmare, why not do unsafe things? What's the difference? Seriously. What's the difference? Even when I took Omar, I wasn't safe. Omar wasn't safe. We're safe. Then we sat in the police station all night. Omar was just on a leash. Omar's not used to being around people. Donald had trained Omar to not be a gentle dog. Even Donald's mom saw that, but she doesn't want to believe it. She doesn't want to believe anything bad about her son, even though she knows it's true. That's why she hated me deep down. She'd ask me the day out, did he drink last night? He's such a waste of a man. He's a joke. He's a no good. No. That's what she would say to me. What a waste of a man. He's a drunk. He's no good. Whatever. But then she didn't want to believe that he would do anything cruel. That's why when my mom came to visit, and my mom doesn't lie, just like I don't lie, My mom might get confused, but she's not an idiot. And Donald put a plastic bag over Omar's head, and Omar was running around with the plastic bag over his head. my mom said something to me, and I said something to Hope, Donald's mom, and she was like, Donald loves that dog, you know? But when I was, I know Omar loved Donald. I know Donald wasn't abusive to the dog. Donald was negligent, though. He was definitely negligent. And his negligence, even Donald's mom saw it eventually, was going to kill Omar. On top of the fact that neither of them, they were so cheap, they refused to take Omar to the vets or anything, you know. I was the one who paid for everything. Until the point where I couldn't, you know. So, I was not safe. Proof of that is that Donald's mom thought Donald would never do again, never try to hurt me again, and she was wrong. It took years later, but he wound up, if he hadn't stopped himself, I would be dead. He reached down where I was sitting on the couch. He's 280, I was 200 then. I'm not 200 now. When I entered the shelter, I was 198. When I left it 6.5 months later, I was 164. Managed to drop 34 pounds because that's how I am. I'm disciplined. I just, no matter what happens to me, I just say, fuck it. You know? But everyone has their breaking point, you know. But anyway, that night, and Donald's mom sat there and watched him doing it. She was furious with me. She didn't even yell at him to stop or, Donald, what are you doing? He reached down with both his hands and wrapped them around my throat and squeezed. He stopped himself. I couldn't have. You kidding me? How could I have stopped him? He's standing above me, all 280 pounds of him. I am sitting on the couch. He reached down with both hands, wrapped them around my neck, and squeezed. He denied it, of course. People deny everything. The judge saw right through his bullshit and awarded me a year restraining order. But that's over with now. Okay. I'm not safe. Don't know what it's like to feel safe. Seriously, I don't. I've never been safe throughout my entire life. And you out there, like my cousins, whose precious mother is going to die very, very soon. It's pancreatic cancer. She's had it for 18 months. She now recently had something put in that the hospice nurse can drain. I don't know all the details, okay? But she's being kept alive. And she's religious, and she believes she'll be with her Lord and Savior, and she praises Him left and right. It's His will, and that's what she feels, and she doesn't want to leave her family, but she's okay, you know. This is my mom's precious sister, beloved sister. But this is to T.S. He knows who he is if he's watching this, or she knows who she is. Nothing in the comments ever indicates to me if it's a man or a woman. Generally, if I don't see a picture or whatnot, picture of a person, but the men who write the hot things to me, you know, you're so hot, you're so sexy, generally is usually a guy doing that, okay? Not that it can't be a lesbian or a bisexual woman, but generally it's been men who have praised my body and looks and whatnot out on YouTube. My mother and this woman have been like this since day one. My mother and Marion have not, any more than me and Marion have, okay? I used to think this about this woman who's dying, that I used to consider her one of my best friends. I am not gonna, quote-unquote, snap when she dies. My mother's gonna be deeply depressed. It's gonna be hard. I need to get out of here because I don't trust Marion. I have no reason to. Marion declared as fraud legitimate charges my mother had made on my mother's own credit cards when I came to visit in 2009, okay? I wasn't supposed to find this out. Criminals do things she only did it to make it look like I'd stolen my mom's credit cards, and any non-idiot could see that. Can see that instantly. Any lawyer would be able to see that. What other reason would she have had to do it? It didn't amount to thousands of dollars. But my mom is so naive. When I tell my mom, Marion's trying to make it, oh, well, Laura, she reduced my credit card debt. See how I have to deal with this shit. And you're going to condemn me because I want to be touched safely? Because I can't go through the bullshit of a relationship, not to mention the fact I've been doing the online dating world, slim pickings, okay? Like I said, I'd rather be alone. I'm not looking for Mr. Perfect, but slim pickings, let me just leave it at that, okay? Slim pickings. I don't trust Marion. She'll lie. She'll outright lie. She'll twist things around. Okay, she tried to make like she was my... Can we forget we were ever mean to each other? No. You forced my mother to throw me out on the street like an animal when I didn't have a penny to my name in 2009. I've never been safe in my life, but particularly not over these last 4.5 years, okay? So if I have the money now to hire somebody to touch me in public because I need to be touched and I can't go through the dating bullshit, well, condemn me all you want, but I'm still going to do it. And I'm sorry, some people condemn me and some just, this person TS just fears for me, or, I'm not going to be committed. I don't do anything wrong. I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything wrong. You can't commit somebody. My mom gets committed because she does things, crazy things, okay? Take your pick. Think of crazy things that someone could do is crazy, and she does things like that, okay? When she's sick. I asked her last night because this TS person prompted me to ask, he makes me think, or she makes me think. I said, Mom, do you think when Tabitha just, I change all the names except my own name. My name's real. But I change all the names of my family and whatnot, okay? When Tabitha dies, do you think you're going to go off the deep end? And my mom said, no. Remember, she's had all these months to prepare for it. It's not a sudden death. It's not a car accident. Oh, speaking of not being safe, I need to stress to you guys why I would not even be afraid when I would wait for buses in Hollywood or go to bars by myself after Donald and I were broken up, and I was back with him when when I'd never wanted to see him again because my family had fucked me over in 2009. My life had turned a nightmare again, and my life never is not nightmare. But now I'm at least safer with over 10,000 in the bank and 1,000 coming in guaranteed every fucking month. I'm safe now. Not completely safe, but safer than I've been in years, okay? Speaking of not safe, I come to visit my mom in 2009. My mom's supposed to be okay. She had just spent about a month, I think, 3 weeks, however long her insurance covers it, a month or say. She'd just spent 3 weeks in the mental hospital and then been released a month before I arrived in May of 2009, okay? Oh, remember, my Chad Kruger loves me fantasy also kept me from going off the deep end. It kept me from going off the deep end when my life was repeatedly turning to nightmare, okay? This was back in 2009. When everything was happening all at once. My mom was getting sick again. She hadn't been sick in years. I've been talking over 10 years. She hadn't been sick at all. Hadn't had any breakdowns. What caused this breakdown, I don't know. She'd been on Prolixin ever since she first got sick when I was 10. And she was put on mandatory shots, I think, when I was 16. So maybe that just stopped working. Maybe her not working anymore after she had worked her butt off 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day for 20 years or whatnot. Maybe she couldn't handle not working. That kept her structured and focused. We don't know why she got sick. Marion later, of course, blamed me. Because Marion, I'm her enemy, and she hates me, and she's going to say anything and everything to me to destroy me. And say anything and everything to my mom to put a wedge so I'll have nothing, okay? She wants just to have my mom to herself, the power, and my mom and I to not be close. Now, you could say, well, why did she let you live with your mom now? Or why did she? Because she sees that I'm back in Massachusetts and she can't keep my mother and I apart. That's why. So it's the case, I believe, if I could step into her brain of keep your enemies close, your friends close, your enemies close. That's what I believe. It made her look good. She got me out of the shelter. She let me come here. I was dying in there because my bulging disc came back and I was in massive pain. It made her look really good in the eyes of everyone. Do I believe she really stopped hating me? No, not for a second. And I got that proof just 3 months after she let me come here. She thought I was rightfully so, thought that I was influencing my mom to have a little autonomy and stick up for herself a little bit against Marion. And the first thing Marion did was threaten my mom with what my mom feared most, me leaving here. She's a conniving bitch. She just wants power over your money. I'm going to have her thrown out of there. Never again. My proof, and I don't care if she apologized. It's easy to apologize. The abusive alcoholic that was in my mom's life between my ages of 4 and 12 apologized every time he got shit-faced and hurt us or wanted to hurt us or threatened to hurt us, but he was one who would call first, and most of the time, we would run away to my mom's friend, okay? We would get away. I remember running. Speaking of not safe, I've never been safe. I was a little girl, 9, 10, whatever, running with my mom. Irv just called, Laura. He's shit-faced. Oh, surprise, surprise, Mom. Remember, I was an intelligent, smart, creative little girl, writing songs and poems that adults now couldn't write, okay? Oh, Laura, we gotta go. We gotta go. Irv just called. He's gonna hurt us. All right, Mom. Let's gather stuff and we'll go stay at your friends. Let's run through the woods. Let's run wherever. We got away. Most of the time. And when we didn't, for whatever reason, he never hurt me. I witnessed him sometimes hurting my mom. Never safe. I've never been safe. My mom went crazy in front of my eyes when I was 10. I've never been safe. Okay? This was my beloved mother. This was I can show you a million pictures. I mean, she never did anything bad to me. This is my precious beloved mother, okay? Because she was weak and she subjected me to a lot of fucking shit. I've never been safe. So you can't really be surprised when I do unsafe things as an adult, when I've never been safe throughout my life. Think about it. Think about it. My mother's illness in 2009, just another example of not being safe. I should not be here. To my friends who really care about me, do you understand? I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be alive. I should be already dead in the ground, 10 feet under, 6 feet. I shouldn't be here. Not just because of the quote-unquote unsafe things I did, but all the unsafe things I was subjected to even as an adult, okay? I shouldn't fucking be here. Yet here I am, and all I want is to be touched by a guy who doesn't repulse me. Okay? If that's what I want and I have the money to do it, then I'm going to do it. Touched, not, touched in a completely safe way. In public. PG-13. Just like I did with that guy 6 weeks ago. Anyway, back to not being safe. My mom was supposed to be better. Remember, Marion's my enemy, and she can do whatever. She can come in this place whenever she wants. Sometimes when I'm uploading videos and I leave them for the day, if I know it's Marion's day off, I fear that she might suddenly find out about YouTube. My mom couldn't stop her. Marion is like a power engine. She's like if she came over here, she would just come in. My mom's weak. My mom's afraid of Marion. My mom loves her, but it's a fear love. I mean, you know what I mean? My mom doesn't want to believe that Marion would hurt her, but I know otherwise. I've heard Marion say things about me. I know otherwise. I don't care. I'm smarter than my mom. Sorry, but I am smarter, deeper, more aware of everything going on in this world. I'm sure there's a lot of things I'm not aware of, but there's a lot of things I am aware of that other people are not. I read, I study, I listen, and I had men in my life who were aware of things, even the asshole. Mary could come over here, barge in, and if I had my computer up, she could destroy my mom couldn't stop her. I'm not safe. I don't want to be here with my mom, sorry. But I'm not going to abandon her before the sister dies. I'm not going to do that. I'll stay here at least until then. I don't know where I'm going to go anywhere. Although I have the money, I could just get a room. I really don't want to go stay in a room, though. Not safe. I hope I can say it before these camera batteries run out. I need to stress to you who care about me that I've never been safe. That's why I do unsafe things, or have done. I'm not doing them anymore. I'm not going to go home with strangers where I could die. I'm not going to, or catch diseases, because I never even use protection. I don't even know why I never got pregnant. I mean, that's how I've always lived my life. I'm weird, I'm strange, and I want to be touched. If I can pay a hot guy to touch me, I'm going to do it. Charlie pays, in 2.5 Men, he pays prostitutes thousands of dollars to, my needs are less. Just pay a lot. Anyway, not safe. Come to visit my mom. She was supposed to be all better. She was supposed to be all better. She'd spent 3 weeks in the hospital. They released her. That meant she was all better? No. It just meant that they released her. It didn't mean she was all better. She wasn't all better. From the moment I got here, she was acting nuts. When I talk about unsafe, at least 10 times I got into her car with her because she was driving, and I'd go places with her. My life was so nightmarish that we almost got into accidents so many times I could have been dead. My mom's a horrible driver, and she was sick still. And she, understandably, is the worst driver when she's sick. She's a horrible driver when she's not sick. She shouldn't be driving. I see it. No one else does. And by no one else, I mean the rest of my family. Remember, the aunt only got cancer 18 months ago. I need to stress that. The aunt hasn't had cancer for years and years and years. Some people have cancer. No. She got it 18 months ago. I had never planned to see her again. I had never planned to see anyone in my family again except for my mother, okay? But my life turned a nightmare yet again, and here I wound up back in where I was born and raised. Anyway, you sit in a car with a woman who's acting crazy, and not crazy like she acts when she's not on her medication, not her schizophrenic crazy, but crazy nevertheless, or like just agitated and whatnot, different kind of crazy. We almost got into accidents so many times. Back roads, it says slow down to 20, curve ahead, but up until then it's just straight road, 50 miles an hour. My mom didn't slow down. We went around the curve 50 miles an hour. Should have been dead. I should be dead. Should I title this video, I should be dead? Huh? You people who care about me? I know my enemies love everything I say because they want to see me dead, okay? But my friends, you're watching this. Should I title this video just, I should be dead? It's true. People who accuse me of being melodramatic are just jerks. They want to think anybody who actually has been through shit and talks about it is being melodramatic. I'm not being melodramatic. I'm telling the truth. I have done nothing but tell the truth on these videos. Nothing but tell the truth. I'm not safe. I've never been safe. But right now, because I can't be thrown on the street like an animal, okay, because I can even take Omar if I have to. If something happens to my mom, if Marion Marion knows how to drive my mom crazy. You know what I mean? My mom even gets this world is so fucked, and once you're put in the mental hospital, you're stigmatized. My mom even acts agitated for whatever reason. I wouldn't be surprised if the police throw her back in the nut house, but I can't be committed. I don't do anything wrong, okay? I have all that money in the bank now. That to me is, I've never had money in my life, so having over $10,000 in the bank is to me, I'm rich. And I'm not drinking. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm not spending my money like I could be, like men might be who drink and smoke drugs, smoke and drink and whatever. My mom had this homeless friend guy who I couldn't stand. He was just a fucking, he was 500 pounds and a lech, and he wasn't a nice person. He used my mom. He knew I couldn't stand him. I met him. He was just, ugh. But my mom was lonely, and he was still better than nothing. But anyway, he came into money. He won money, won a case, won whatever. $50,000. He went crazy because he was used to being homeless. He went crazy. Coke and $200 a night hotels, and because he had a son that he could now impress. Went through that $50,000 in like 2 months. My mom told me that's what people do. Back in 2009, when I was living on the streets, I learned how these people, they get their social security checks like I'm getting for $1,000 a month. They blow it in like 3 days on sex and drugs and whatnot, and then they're on the streets again begging. Compare that to me. Yeah, I've bought clothes. I've splurged on good food and splurged on clothes and whatnot. I've taken care of my mom. I've paid my mom the equivalent of rent. But I'm not going to get committed, you person who cares about me. I am remaining stable. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything crazy, and I haven't depleted my money like a lot of these fucks do. I'm sorry, but that's what they do. They come into money and they blow it, and they're back homeless and on the streets begging again. They get money every month, and they blow it on drugs. I learned this. On drugs and women in hotels. They blow it all for the beginning of the first few days, and then they're back on the streets begging again. That's their life, month after month after month. That's how it was in the shelter. The minute they got their checks, they go and have a party for a few days, and then they're back. That's why for those few days, beds would open up. Okay? That's how they live their life. I'm not like that. I'm not with the abusive monster anymore. I'm not being psychologically abused on a daily basis. Even in the shelter, I wasn't. That's why I could smile and blast my music in my ear and exercise and lose 34 pounds. I wasn't happy, but I was still better off. I wasn't completely safe, but I was still safe in there because they have things put into place to protect, to protect us. Okay? I'm not going to be committed. I'm not going to go off the deep end. I can't speak for my mom, but sure, she's going to be heartbroken. She's going to be whatever. I don't think she's going to go off the deep end, though. I feared it before, now I don't. But what Marion plans, Marion can't be trusted. Marion's bottom line is money. Marion's husband's bottom line is money. They're both cheap fucking whatever, okay? Marion can't be trusted. My mother is pure. My mother's a pure soul. Part of the reason I don't believe anyone can cause somebody to get sick, okay? I think a lot of factors came into play in 2009, but part of the reason my mom may have gotten sick is because she came to visit me, and she got a hold of a letter she wasn't supposed to get a hold of. She took my notebook by mistake. She came to visit me because of my bulging disc. I needed help. I needed whatever. She got a hold of my notebook, and in it I wrote, "I don't care if I die so long as my mother lives." I was writing it to my good friend who's deep and aware and intelligent, unlike my mother, okay? who's a child, very childlike mind, and I wrote that to my musician ex. He can handle shit like that. My mom wasn't supposed to see that. It may have influenced her getting sick. I don't know. In 2009, she called up and screamed into the phone, "Laura committed suicide!" You know, I mean, she was already getting sick. She was calling up acting crazy. Remember, this was 4 months after Donald had left me like garbage at the bottom of that hill, and I shouldn't be alive. I've been through too much in the past 4.5 years. I haven't had full-blown sex in over 5, since April 6, 2008. Okay? I'm not picking up men anymore. I'm not going to bars and drinking. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I was a good girl for those. I dotted all my I's, crossed all my T's, and in the end I had nearly $17,000 to my name instead of 0. Okay? Plus $1,000 coming in every month. I did everything I needed to do in that shelter. I did everything I needed to do, and I did something for myself instead of slipping into despair and putting back on the 98, 08, 18, 28, 34 pounds I had miraculously managed to lose, you know. Although it wasn't, I mean, overall I'd managed to lose that slowly since 2008 when Donald had nearly killed me and didn't care, okay? I wasn't going to put the weight back on. I ended up dropping 34 pounds instead. Disciplined, controlled. My friend, my hot as shit, cool as shit black friend, who I hope to be friends for the rest of my life, however long or short that is, the rest of her life, however long or short that is, okay? I hope. She only knew this much about how much I'd been through in my life. She looked right at me. She said, "I cannot believe, Laura, you are not down at that bar every fucking day getting shit-faced." That's what she said to me, point blank. "I cannot believe," and she didn't know even half of it, "I can't believe you're not at that bar every day." You know, because people would. You're not supposed to. I mean, you can get away with it to a point, you know, as long as you're not falling down drunk, you can come back to the shelter shit-faced, you know, and get away with it. But I wasn't. I was a good girl for those 6.5 months. I've been a good girl since, okay? But I need to be touched. And I can't go through the little bullshit dating and going out to dinner and chatting about my life and whatnot. So I'll pay someone to touch me. Not have sex with me. Touch me. I need to be touched. What do you want? I have the money. I'm safer now than I've been for how long? God knows how long. I want to be touched. I need to be touched. I ache to be touched. I will pay to be touched. But I won't deplete my money, okay? I'm used to having nothing. I'm used to being sexually frustrated. I'm used to it all. But everyone, you know what I mean? I have the money and I'm going to be touched. I'm going to pay a hot guy to do it in public. And just watching this video alone and nothing else, none of you out there should condemn me. That he without sin cast the first stone. Walk a mile in my shoes and then judge me. Walk a mile in my shoes and then judge me. I think I will, that's what I'll title this video.